Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Esea premiere here on ESL CSGO B. I'm Darth Mike. I'm your host, your producer, your observer, your many things tonight, and I'm joined, as per usual, by the beautiful, the magnificent JRT. We're going to be bringing you a game here between the Bad News Bears and Ggpr. How you feeling tonight, John?
Feeling pretty good. Nice intro. I like that.
There you go. Put it on a business card.
I should. But yeah, this matchup tonight, it's going to be interesting to say the least. I mean, Bad News Bears are walking into it with a considerable advantage. The vetoes were Mirage first, then we have Inferno, then we have Nuke. Inferno, Mirage, and Nuke are their best maps. So it's quite clear cut that if Bad News Bears lose here, it'll be because they did something wrong. Partially due to the fact that Ggpr are a rookie squad. I don't want to take anything away from them, Mike, because, you know, they made it here and they're doing pretty well for themselves. 3-2, 4-2 with a forfeit win. But yeah, I mean, they're in the middle of the pack. They just got promoted to Premier, and they have you know, not too bad of a scoreline on Mirage. 7 games played, 4 wins, 3 losses, 116 rounds for, 112 rounds against, for a +4 round differential. So they can play here, but then when you get to Inferno and Nuke, it becomes much more problematic. They don't play Nuke much, and Inferno, they have a losing record. So,
And just to give you guys some context about why this is taking so long, we were just waiting on players for a long time. Ggpr took a little while to show up. Now it seems like they're finally ready, so we're going to be hopping in game here in just a flash, as soon as I've confirmed that it's actually happening. But, you know, the thing that's an issue for Ggpr is just what's an issue for a lot of move-up teams. They've had some roster instability. They've been figuring out and adapting to this level of play. We are now in the game. Thank goodness. You don't have to listen to my stupid voice. Well, you still have to listen to my stupid voice. You don't have to see my stupid face. Much better here. And so we'll see what they can do. We were talking about it a little bit last night on the main broadcast. If they can get 3 maps here, I think they're very happy. Got a little bit of massacre going on in apartments as I'm hitting the wrong number, and it's going to be left to Swisher behind the bench as these T's try and make their way in. Even exchange so far, but do they expect Swisher here? They don't. The reload catches a player. There's one out towards Catwalk. Now both are spotted, and the reinforcements are here. The cavalry is on its way. They need to make a hero play. Lowrider and Poison trying something, anything, but they're being whittled down, and they're running out of bodies. Starting to find the fight all on the lowrider now. He does not have the health for this. Body shots would be enough, and indeed they are, as John G finishes him off down to the wire. But John, no bomb plant.
no bomb plant indeed. So they're probably going to have to save here. Maybe a pistol will be bought up by Poison and Lowrider, who can afford it and still stay above the 2K mark. But everyone else probably is going to go for the full save. And it appears to... No, wait. Look at this. They are going to buy up a little bit more than expected.
Interesting.
They're still above the 1K mark. But yeah, it's interesting. 3 Deagles, a Scout, and a Glock. And like you mentioned, Mike, there were some changes to the roster of Ggpr. They made it here with Vic, but they cut Vic in favor of Arc. And they just cut Creed, I think it was last night, in favor of Poison. And Poison, the first victim here to Peter's Scout.
I actually thought that nade had been what killed him, and I was trying to figure out where the second nade had come from, but no, it's Peter's Scout that gets it through. And this is interesting. There's actually no presence on B. George has found his way through. The bomb's going to follow. They've got to figure out a bit of a retake. In the meantime, there's still 2 players over towards the A site. They've got George all the way into the back of B. What the heck is going on here? How do Bad News Bears read this? They've got to fight back through, but at this point, maybe they're just trying to calm. All right, George, still a bit of a fake. Maybe we draw back towards A, and this is the right call. Problem is, bomb's still in apps. So now they've made their way out on towards A, but Spongy's encountered 1. Spongy's dealt with 1. They do have an interesting position here for Arcus. We're still trying to figure out what that 3 is supposed to be read as. So if anyone in chat knows, we'll absolutely take the advice. And he is going to be the last player alive because a player disconnected? Am I seeing that right?
You are.
Okay, well, maybe that explains why he was still in apps that late, but that's not a good sign. Tech pause gonna come through as we hopefully get the player back in the server.
Yeah, I mean, it gives us time to talk a little bit more about, well, both rosters, in fact. We mentioned Ggpr making a couple of changes. They started out with U's, in fact, this season. French-Canadian coming into the roster, played a couple of BO3s, and they said, this isn't really working out, and they switched things up. And that's, I think, when Arc was added. Or it wasn't Arc, actually. I think it was Creed that came back to the roster, because I believe they wanted to cut him at the beginning of the season. Then they tried to play with him, and then he was ending up being cut. Anyway, in favor of Poison. Lots of different decisions being made, like Mike alluded to, and honestly, I hate seeing it, you know, when a team gets promoted and they have so many troubles kind of keeping the roster together at the premier level, but it's kind of the reality because you face a lot more stress, you know, once you get to this level in terms of your gameplay and being consistent.
And, I mean, you also do things like by scouting a bunch of deagles, so now you're going into your rifles, but you've got no utility and poisons on a deagle. What they did in the last round, John, I always like to refer to as the worst of both worlds buy. You don't get a great force buy, and then you have a really mediocre rifle round with no util. I never like it, and it's really not a good idea against the Bad News Bears, where, I mean, let's just put it plainly. You cannot show this team weakness. They're going to chew you up and spit you out like a bear ripping through a trash can. That's a nice opener, though. George gets the opening pick. Alter's looking to get them back through, and they do have a fast link through ramp. Look at this. Peter making noise, actually going for a fast step as he wants to get in to help his comrades. So there's a bit of a wrap in, but Peter's going to be slowed down by the smoke at the very least. Now the smoke fades. Do they come back to clear it? They do indeed. It's Lowrider, but Lowrider looks the wrong way at the wrong time. Now they're being pressured from all directions, and the hit into ticket is dismantled. Janji, what the hell was that? Goes for the multi-kill, and Exotic is dealt with. I was expecting the Peter flank to be the most impactful, but Janji just stares them straight down from the front and kills 3. Just Janji things.
Janji's been a monster this season, Mike. I mean, looking at his stats, the 2 of the last 3 matches, he was the top frag. He had 51 frags against Rise, 48 against Eclipse, and in both matches, 100 plus ADR across all 4 maps. Averaged 102.2 ADR against Rise and 124.3 ADR up against Eclipse. It was actually the Swisher show last night, as he had 54 frags and only 22. That's plus 34 kill to death differential, 110.4 ADR. These guys are stacked in terms of talent.
Shots coming through. And actually, if you do have any questions about our audio or judgments about them, I would actually appreciate that. It's a one-man show on production here, and this is my first time running 2 casters on this particular OBS setup, so my audio will definitely need a tweak. I'll try and get it bounced, but, you know, keep me informed here. Keep me informed as I try and find a tweak between our 2 microphones. It can be a bit of a challenge. Again, we have an advantage here for Ggpr. So they've been finding these. Now we'll see if they can convert. Janji has deep control towards the apartments, and they are going to bring the bomb his way. This is another chance for a big Janji play. They're looking for him. They're clearing into him. They're going bomb first. That's never a good call. George is going to try and clear this out. He'll drop the bomb right into him. And there we go. Gift wrap for Janji. He was expecting the second player close, but no, they're actually both back behind. A molly can now be dropped. They're going to come through it. Whoa, he does not expect that play because it was a crazy play. Exotic, somehow beyond the Molotov, didn't catch a lick of the flames, and now they've got an entry in towards site. So the faulty molly, perhaps, but now a big opportunity for Ggpr. Could have been disastrous. Instead, got a chance at the bomb plant. They're trying to prop the response from Swisher. Swisher gives it to him, but now it's all down to Exotic. Both players are low, and Exotic, he can't hang on. Swisher, a nice 2-piece to clear that out, to get it back into control. Some of these rounds getting a bit closer, a bit dicier than expected, but BNB, they're hanging on.
Yeah, they definitely are. I mean, more than hanging on. They're up 4-0. And Mike, I'm hearing or reading in the chat that you're trying to
I already
suppress
adjusted
me?
it. There's a 150-second delay on the stream, though, so they'll find out in 2.5 minutes.
Fair enough. I was going to make a joke about it. But anyway, Bad News Bears, their IGL, of course, Peter. He's an excellent opper, but that's not really what he's making himself known for this season, although he's doing very well with the op as well. Switch is going to get a couple of frags. Alter drops George, and this is just a slaughter from the Bad News Bears up against the pistol of Ggpr. Gives me a chance to talk a little bit more about Peter, who does have an excellent frag line here this season at 194 with a plus 71 kill to death differential. Don't want to take anything away from that, but he's excellent in terms of the flashes. The last 6 maps, he has 106.0 average enemy flash time, with 4 of those matches going to 100 plus seconds of flash time and 39.5 average enemy flash over the last 6 maps. That's just nutty stats from him. And then he gets the frag with the op over on Arc, Mike, so he's just lighting it up across the board.
Peter just constantly showing that age is just a number.
It is.
Oh. Or poison. Actually does get a shot. All right, there we go. Peter down for the count. Only casualty of the round. His op obviously very comfortably retrieved and brought back through. And so Bad News Bears, they're up to a 5-0, and that was a comfortable couple of rounds for them to start to build a little bit of a bank. It's not astronomical, considering they do have these 5 rounds. A lot of these rounds have been much closer. But we shall see. what happens here in the gun. Swisher getting aggressive. He's going to hop up in towards ladder. Takes a little bit of molly damage. But the nade onto Arcus is better. And look at this. Okay, there we go. Couple of openers. Exotic gets one elsewhere. There's been an answer from Peter, but they're still down in numbers. Peter wants to get aggressive off of this. He's getting aggressive with his teammate.
Man.
How does that work out for them? The Bad News Bears knew they had to make a play, and make a play they did. Bomb now dropped towards Catwalk. It's all under poison once more, and he's about to be spotted. Janji now knows where he's at. He certainly saw Janji, right? He's not reacting to it.
I don't think he saw Janji. I think Janji saw poison.
They're both looking his way. They know exactly where he's at. As soon as he drops, yeah, Peter's going to get that shot. Boom. What a great response from Bad News Bears.
That was incredible. I think Janji spotted the bomb, and they realized, given the situation, they had to go for some aggression. And wow, that was played extremely well. Janji hit an excellent shot with the AUG. Nice headshot to kick things off, and then Peter came in to support while the teammate that was left behind for Ggpr was distracted by Janji. So just excellent coordination and communication, as you would expect from the Bad News Bears. And one thing to note is this technically is the X-Chaos spot, right?
Yeah.
And Janji is the only player left from that roster. Everyone else left.
And we miss them.
We do.
They've all found homes at this point, though, which is nice. Unfortunately, most of them in Valorant, which is less nice. But, you know, it is what it is in that regard. Just to give you...
Nice nade, sorry.
That was a chunky nade. I was just going to give some context on where those players ended up, but we might have to wait, as it seems like the hit is on. Let's see what they can get. Janji deletes one. Looking for a second as well. There's going to be a swing from Alter, and Alter, well, dismantled it. It's all into George. George will take one, but he's immediately flanked out, and that is done, and that is dusted. One thing that we have noticed on this Bad News Bears roster is that Janji has been picking up that secondary op, and he's been getting better and better at it as time goes on. I was critical at first when I was watching them some cash cups. It's like, why are you giving Janji the second op? Let him go rip heads. Hold W and rip heads. But, you know, he's not bad with it. He's not bad with it. Kind of like it.
He's really not. I mean, he's been doing quite well with everything this season. Like I said, he's been on fire. He's the frag leader on the squad in 10 maps with 212 frags, plus 74 kill to death differential, and an ADR of 99.5. along with a KDR of 1.54. He's also got 23 3-kill plus rounds and 4 4Ks. I mean, those are just insane stats.
He's all right at the game.
He's, yeah.
Just to give that promised tour of where everyone from Chaos ended up. So we have Janji here, still competing in Counter-Strike and doing very well with the Bad News Bears. Marky was just added by Extra Salt, I believe, so he is now playing with that roster. Zeppa is on Cloud9, so that's where he ended up. Vanity is on version 1 Valorant. Leaf is on Cloud9 Valorant. And MCE, the coach, now coaches Gen G Valorant. So we did lose half of the team to Val. We got some holdouts. We got some people sticking around. And now let's see what's going to happen here. Oh, damage coming in towards mid. And once again, Bad News Bears down in the numbers. But Janji is going to take one back. How have we seen this happen again and again and again? And Peter goes to clear underpass. What a madman. My. What an insane person. How are these ops so damn aggressive?
Whoa.
All right. Peter's going to get another. I should have known better. George is eventually going to get this kill that I was expecting here as an observer, but he won't get anything more. All right. We have seen so many rounds where Ggpr move up into a 4v3, a 5v3, and then the ops just come in from Bad News Bears and shut it down, and we're back to the 8-0. What is happening here, John?
Here's the thing. I'm seeing something that I haven't seen in quite some time, and that's very aggressive mid-control on Mirage. Typically now in the meta, players are hanging back a little more. They're giving up mid a lot faster than they used to. But man, they're playing some old-style Mirage right here, where Peter is going out and not wasting any time pinching in. They're abandoning the A site in a lot of cases just to make sure that mid-control doesn't come through. And it's important because once you give the T's mid-control, as mostly everyone knows, they can go anywhere on the map, and it really makes it harder to play on the CT side. But some teams, a lot of teams in fact, prefer that more passive play and for the T's to come to them.
Gotta say, I'm enjoying George's Steam profile pic here. It's got an anteater going on, I think. I think that's what that is. Pretty quality.
Oh my gosh.
Underratedly bizarre animal, the anteater.
Very much so.
It's
quite a
weird creature.
A strange mix of avatars here.
Yeah, we've got the necessary anime profile picture here for Exotic. Gotta have it. Arcus has the land pick. That's also a classic. Then we've got just space for Poison. I don't know whether that's an actual like Hubble telescope photo. It's probably just like a weird digital painting or something of that nature. And then Lowrider's rocking, I think that's the Casino Royale shot.
It is, yes.
Yeah, so, you know. And then Bad News Bears, like a well-oiled machine. They got that beautiful clip art logo. My favorite. This is going to be a hit, and it's going to be a bit of a massacre. There is a kill that goes back the other way, but not for long. It's all on Exotic now, and not even his anime profile picture can save him from that death.
Yeah, this is all Bad News Bears all the time at this point, Mike. It's not much else to say.
It's crazy. These rounds have been so much closer than the 9-0 scoreline would imply.
But whenever they get down, they just like crank it up and destroy anyone who's left.
Peter is 15-3.
Oof.
A little bit of a traffic jam here. Janji wanted the fast peek. He ran into a player. He still gets the kill. The hell? They're running into each other for the first 10 seconds of the round. They're completely out of place. Janji comes back into the angle, still wins the duel against Poison. That's just rude, Janji. That's just rude. You gotta lose that duel. That's, man. What do you do if you're Ggpr? You're just getting dunked upon.
Learn from it,
Yes.
I guess.
Survive.
Honestly, just survive and try to get around on the board and go from there. But a very interesting stat here that I pulled up is that Peter, in terms of op rank, he's sitting at number 3 in the league with 112. But the more impressive thing is that he has the fewest deaths while holding the op in the league at 9. He's only died 9 times with the op, Mike.
Wait, hold on.
9 times against another offer, I should say.
Okay.
Duels.
Okay.
Yes.
I was gonna say
yeah.
he's holding the op a lot. There's no way.
I meant in duels.
Okay.
Obviously. It's impossible,
Okay.
but yeah.
He never dies. Oh man. I mean, it's starting to feel that way, right? Bad News Bears up to the 10-0, double digits hit here. This is about. Look, we expected this to be a one-sided game. I don't know if we expected this to be this one-sided. Lowrider has at least cracked his goose egg, so that's exciting. He's on the board. Nobody's having too much of a good time. Top of the board is just 6-10. It's a rough showing here. Ggpr will take a timeout, and they should, because I don't know,
There's
come up with something.
Yeah, you try to go back to the drawing board and think about something for sure. And one thing though is that the last 2 opponents for the Bad News Bears haven't exactly gotten a good amount of rounds on the board. If you look at it against Mythic only got 9 rounds. They were missing Daff because Daff decided to step down from Mythic. But against Eclipse, they only dropped 6 rounds. So that's over 4 maps, a total of 15 rounds lost. That is just really, really good.
I mean, look, here's the thing about this Bad News Bears roster. We were talking about it. In a Premier League right now that has teams like Extra Salt, that have moved down from Pro, the former Cloud9 team, that you have Triumph, who, yes, they've been rebuilding this roster, but they've got org support, they've got an established structure, like, they know what they're doing in terms of that regard. They're still building the team. And you've got, you know, High Coast as well, who were phenomenal last season and have continued that roster through. Arguably, Bad News Bears have looked the best.
Yeah. I mean, they picked up such awesome talent as Peter is going to continue rocking it with the opposite. Is he at 20 yet, Mike?
He's
at
no,
16.
not quite. I think he's at 16 yet. He
Feels
just hasn't.
like it.
He hasn't gotten kills in a couple rounds. His teammates have been killing everyone.
Yeah. But looking at who they picked up, because yeah, Jonji left the next Chaos roster. As Jonji gets a nice shot on Poison, I'll talk about it after. George, the last one, standing here in a 4v1. They're just going to close on him. The aggression here from the Bad News Bears has been very... I mean, they've just been very aggressive, Mike. I'm surprised that they haven't been more passive, but at this point, they're kind of bullying Ggpr. Yeah.
Yeah, they're feeling it. They're racing each other for the kills. This is the point where you're up 11-0 and you go, all right, my turn for a 3K, and you just start trying to race to see who can get the most. And we've seen in this roster is pretty much everyone has those opportunities, and everyone, I would say everyone apart from Spongy has that urge to just be hyper aggressive. Spongy's always a player who's kind of cool as a cucumber in most situations. So you'll see he's just chilling. He's like, all right, I'll anchor. You guys go chase kills. We got aggression up mid again. Jonji's clearing top mid. There's no one here, but he's going to have information out the butt. And so what do? Player in towards Sandwich. Spongy jump peeking from Ticket to set up Alter. They can swing that second player in towards mid. No, Peter's going to get a... They got both ops top mid. What's going on here? Peter's just making jumps for fun. He's playing on the playground, John. He's going down the slide. All right, here comes the hit. Spongy drops a smoke. That's well timed. Now Peter can get back into position. They'll be well set up to receive this. Exotic is going to catch Janji, actually, as he tries to get aggressive towards top mid. Exotic had come back through the apartment, so now that's an op found for Exotic. What can he hope to do with it? He's going to draw the focus of Peter back towards mid, who's hoping he's going to come looking into it. 56 seconds on the clock. They're just going to go for a straightforward A hit with the 3 smokes that they've got. So on go the smokes. Smoke the 1, smoke the 2. You have to show a little respect in towards mid because you know that op could be lurking, but Alter still gonna be well positioned to be the swing here. As they come around, I imagine he's gonna come away with a multi-kill if Spongy doesn't find it first. And they're being slowed by these mollies. So here comes the hit. Alter's got 1. He actually only gets the 1, but Peter close up with the AWP, still making his money. And they've dropped the bomb. They've dropped the bomb. Peter to the box. Offensive. Bomb will be retrieved. Smokes up close. Arc goes down, but it's all onto Poison now. In a 1v2, this is winnable. But he's being flanked. He's being shot in the back. Now he's got to focus in, and they are toying with him. He's out of time. He's out of life. It's over. A 4K for Peter, including a shot through the triple box. And it is 12-0, John.
There's the 20 frags that I was talking about earlier that I mistakenly thought he had, but no, he does actually have them. 20 and 3 plus 17 kill to death differential.
What's his ADR?
It is crazy.
165 ADR with the AWP.
Whew, whew.
Sheesh.
What? I wanted to talk a little bit about Spongy, Mike, and he's one of those players that'll just fill any role, the roles that some players won't want to do. He'll jump into them without hesitation, and he's a really valuable player for that reason. And you'd actually talked about this last season, or maybe it was a couple seasons ago. Anyway, we'll get back to it again. It's fast and furious here. 4v4. Ggpr doesn't have much HP to work with, and the BNB Bad News Bears are taking advantage of it.
On here. All right, bodies are dropping. Look at the health remaining. Okay, it's Swisher's time for the cleanup. The nade could be enough. It finds 1. There's the second as well. But the health being what it was, we just had to watch the rifle get her done. And get her done, it did.
But yeah, I mean, I guess you can kind of pick it up, Mike, because you're the one who really talked about it last when he was cut from Triumph. It was a surprise, right? To you.
Yeah. Okay, you want me to talk about how much I like Spongy? Sure, I'll tell you how much I like Spongy. Spongy, I talked about him being cool as a cucumber. This man is an anchor. He's a rock upon which you can build a team. He's a foundation. You just know is going to be there. He's like a cliff face that no matter what time and nature throws his way, he's just still going to be there. All right, Peter, that was a little bit too ridiculous. Tried to get aggressive around the smoke. He's going to get caught off. See if they can seize on this. On a roster where you've got a lot of players who want to get nutty, it's nice to have that kind of a rock. Swisher takes another. Yeah. Alter seriously just got flashed through. What? Alter! How did you not get punished there? John!
I don't know.
They're having too much fun now.
It's bad for Ggpr because not only are the Bad News Bears playing really, really well, like you said, they're having a blast right now. They're just trying different things, seeing what they can get away with, and some Peter just going a little too crazy around mid there in that round. But yeah, they still pick up a 14th round, going for the perfect 15-0 here. Oh man, let's look at that scoreboard here. Everyone above 10 frags except for Spongy. But we talked about it. You know, Spongy doesn't care about the frags. He just wants to help the team in any way possible, which is so incredible to have on a roster. I was surprised that he didn't get picked up for, I think it was 2 seasons, maybe even 3. He was just sitting there, I guess, playing FPL, but yeah.
It was, yeah. He's not usually a player who's going to be popping off on the stat sheet. Back on that Triumph roster, it was when he was top fragging, something was going wrong with the team, and he was having to step up. Janji! What? He just no-scoped coming out of window. I can't make a point here. Janji's just doing crazy shit. All right. Pardon my French there. Sorry. It's just, come on. He just jumped out the window and no-scoped. It's not okay. Alter, coming up from the apartments, flanking it out. Poison. He's gonna get flanked. He's not gonna get this bomb down. Oh, they're going for the knife. They're going for the knife. He's running away. He got chased into the op. This is just rude. They're having way too much fun with this, and Exotic is gonna be the last victim. Oh no. 15-0 is our scoreline here, and this is just. I think I need to call the Child Protective Services or something and get Ggpr taken away because they are getting hurt.
To my knowledge, if the Bad News Bears win this pistol round, it'll be the first 16-0 this season in Premier. So, yeah, I guess that's something that Ggpr can talk about. I don't want to be mean or anything, but yeah, it's just been
No,
really
it's
for them.
rough. It's rough. We're gonna start. Look, we knew this was going to happen to some degree. It's just problematic how much fun Bad News Bears are having with it and how little Ggpr have been able to do. But you gotta imagine their comms are crashing. They're not feeling good about it. They're not feeling great about it.
Definitely not.
It's rough. You kind of knew going into this. You're like, all right, look, we're up against these players. We're gonna get run. Let's just see what we can do. Let's see how our setups work out. And look again. At least at the beginning of that half, they're having a lot of success with getting the early duels, getting the early picks, punishing some of that aggression that was coming through from the Bad News Bears. It's just kind of fallen away since then. Now we'll see what they can do. Swisher and Peter going to take a couple of kills in towards mid. Low Rider is quite low. And he is riding. And now he is dead. So no more riding for him. A 3v2 now. George is going to have to hold on to this, but he's being pressured from in the apartment. That's Spongy in every direction. There are bullets coming his way, and he is down for the count. It's going to be all onto Exotic. See if he can pull off the 1v3 to avoid the 16-0 disaster. Just call him Astralis versus Spirit right now. There's the clutch. There's the first. He needs 2 more. Doesn't have a kit either, so time is of concern. And they're not giving him an inch. They want that 16-0. They're no longer just chasing the kill. They want it, and Alter's going to get it. That's going to be the map. That's going to be the game. And we're done with Mirage. What's next? Inferno? Inferno.
When did we start? Around 9:16 or 9? No, it was like something like that.
Yeah, I mean they were late in the server Ggpr, but at least they didn't keep us waiting for our full schedule.
I mean, geez, that was very very fast. 25 minutes, something like that. Unbelievable. Yeah, so we're gonna go on to one of the best maps for the Bad News Bears. Well, Mirage, they're undefeated, 4-0 over the last 3 months. Now they're going to Inferno, where they're 9-1, Mike, over the last 3 months. It's not getting any easier for Ggpr at all.
I mean, this next map I think is the Bad News Bears map pick. It is in fact. Yeah, Ggpr chose Mirage. Nothing worked for them. BNB loves playing Inferno.
Yep.
This is gonna hurt.
I think Peter almost every time he's played it, he's had 100+ seconds of flash time. So they're gonna be blind for quite a bit of time on that map.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take a break here because honestly, I don't know what else we can do to analyze this. The analysis here, the key analysis is, oh man, Bad News Bears, they're good. And once they get going, once they smell blood in the water, they're just gonna swarm you and shred you and have a whole lot of fun doing it. I imagine their TeamSpeak is a great place to be right now as they are just giggling their ways to the bank. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break here. We'll be back with map 2. Stick around. Don't go anywhere.